Hello, I'm Lindsey Berg with Lope Dogs Dog Training, and today I'm working with Voyager dog food to introduce e-collar. So, controversial topic, and rightfully so. E-collars, the issue with e-collars is that it is a very powerful tool that can cause psychological damage to a dog when used haphazardly, which is why I'm so excited to show you a different way of using it today that can increase communication, freedom for your dog, and really bring your dog to their full potential and your training as well. So, the issue with e-collars is using it as a punishment. So many people, they get an e-collar, they put it on the dog, and they just go, no, 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 no. They essentially just tell the dog everything they're not supposed to do, rather than showing the dog what we want them to do. So that's using it as a punishment. And what I'm gonna show you today is how we can use it as communication, using low levels and guiding the dog towards the right behavior rather than just punishing them for the wrong stuff. The first most important thing is getting a high quality e-collar. So I'm looking for something that is well constructed, it's been tested, it's not gonna misfire or malfunction. And then I also want a really wide range of stimulation levels or numbers. So this is the Mini Educator. This goes 0 to 100. Another brand I like is Dogtra, also similar, 0 to 100. There are quality collars like Garmin and others, but they have lower denominators. They might go 0 to 10 or 0 to 17. And my issue there is for a lot of dogs, even a 1 is going to be too hot. And so we're gonna introduce this to Jade in a little bit, and today, I guarantee I will not go above a 10. Like, I wanna find her lowest working level, the lowest level that she feels. And so for a lot of those cheaper other collars, that level is gonna be, a 1 is gonna be corrective, and I'm really looking for that communication level. So this is the micro Mini Educator that I'm gonna use with Jade today. And when I put it on her in a moment, we're gonna make it nice and snug, and then the box itself is going to rest on one or the other side of her neck. That is where muscles are in the dog's neck. So, what this uses is muscle stimulation. If you've ever used a muscle stimulator for back pain or anything like that, it is the same sensation. So I'm gonna set our little lady down, and I always like to have the collar at the highest point in the dog's neck. And so this collar is going to go right underneath her, oop, there, you can get it, right under her leash here. And we want it to be snug. This is very important. It's gonna have to be tight, and that's part of the reason I will also only have a dog wear it for about 4 hours at a time before I rotate it to the other side. I've never had this happen, but I have seen cases where it can form like a pressure ulcer on the dog's neck, so I obviously want to avoid that. Even this is a touch loose. Let me do one more notch here. Because the key here is that the box isn't going to move. Okay, she has like, you're right in between. We're gonna go one looser. There we go. And if the box is moving or if this strap is too loose, it's going to affect your dog's levels where they're not gonna feel it, and then all of a sudden they're gonna jump out of their socks because they are gonna feel it. So we want that snug. Here we go. All right. One super important note is that I would never do e-collar on a dog younger than 6 months. They're just too impressionable, and they need to just experience the world, socializing, learning it's a safe place. Jade here is 8 months old. She's learning how much fun she can have without her mom, so this is really the perfect time for us to set some boundaries there. And little tidbit about Jade is she has never had an e-collar on before, so this is how I introduce it with every dog that I'm going to use e-collar with. I do it the same way, and we'll see how she does. All right, so step 1 is we're gonna find Jade's lowest working level. This is the lowest level that she shows us she feels. And what that's usually gonna look like in most dogs is like a little flick of the head, a twitch of the ear, they might look at the ground, like essentially what was that? I wanna find that very sensitive sensation that she feels, and that's where we'll start. All right, so I'm going to start at a 1, and I just go tap, tap, tap. Let's go. Tap, tap, tap. Not seeing anything. We're gonna bump to a 2. Nothing. Going to a 3. Jade, let's go. Usually I do this part inside too. Just there's a little less distraction. It's hard for me to tell, like she looked at a leaf over there. We're gonna try a 4. Okay. I'm gonna read that as she felt that. And so once we'll quick try a 5 just in case. And this, we are splitting hairs. Like these levels are so sensitive here. Tap, tap, tap. Yeah. that little flick of her ear, I'm registering that as she felt that. So now that I know for certain she felt a 5, I'm actually gonna go back to a 4, because once they feel it, I can usually go a level down. So this is 4 out of 100 on the micro, which is even less than the other collars. And what we're going to do next is introduce a perfect association of leash pressure equals tap, tap, tap on your neck. So now that we know Jade's lowest working level is a 4, the next thing I'm going to do is start doing leash work around the patio here and tapping anytime I feel leash pressure. I am going to use a speaker so that you know when I'm tapping. If I were just working the dog today, I would not use the speaker. This is just a tool I use for clients so that we can be consistent on knowing when each other are tapping. Let's go. Let's go. Good girl. That's nice. Come on. You got it. So she did a little head shake there. I'm actually going to go down to a 3. Sometimes dogs are a little bit stoic when I first introduce the collar, and it's hard to tell what they're actually feeling or not. So what I'm watching for is if I see the dog shake their head, it probably means it's a little too hot. Oh, tangled up. But so the key here is what I consider fairness. So like Jade has already learned to walk nicely on a leash. Her foundation has been laid. It wouldn't be fair if I were just starting out for doing leash work for the first time. And then the other thing that's happening is that she is learning to pay attention and to avoid leash pressure. She's gonna match my pace and direction. Let's go. Shh. And by doing it this way, we're showing the dog what to do with this information, of this sensation of tapping. Essentially, get closer to me and it goes away. I wanna give the dog a feeling of control. If we just put an e-collar on and start hitting the button without showing the dog what to do instead, it's not fair to the dog. I want to use this sensation to build connection. This will become the foundation of our recall. And it essentially creates this, oh, what a good girl, gravitational pull towards me when they feel this sensation. Come on, let's go. Good girl. Let's go. Come on, I think she's ready to go to the sidewalk. So we identified her lowest working level as a 4, and I actually think she's gonna end up being more sensitive, so I bumped her down to a 3. And then we've moved to a more open space, low distraction. I like starting this on pavement. It just feels a little more fair. It's not wrong to do it on grass, but I'm just working off a little more distraction at this point, and I really wanna make it fair to Jade. So what I'm gonna start doing is her basic leash work, walking in circles around, and anytime I feel the slightest pressure on her leash, I'm simply gonna tap on the button until she relieves that pressure. You will hear it through the speaker. So here we go, we'll get started. Let's go. Now, what this is doing is it's showing her what to do with the information. Essentially, when you feel this, get closer to me and it goes away. I think it's really important when introducing an aversive that we show the dog how to turn it off. We give them that feeling of control. And the other thing it's gonna do is create like a gravitational pull towards me that we can then use later in recall and other behaviors as well. Let's go. Come on, lady. Oh, good girl. There is a lot of distraction with the leaves. Jade, let's go. Good. I'm actually gonna go down to a 2 now. I think that little head shake is telling me she's feeling it, so let's go. And that's very common. Dogs, if we're doing this training properly, they are going to become more sensitive to it. A lot of people, they start introducing e-collar and they keep going up and up and up because the dog is just ignoring it or powering through it, and then the dog is becoming less sensitive. And it's really important to me that I'm softening her as we go. What a good girl, let's go. Let's go. Good. Let's go. So what we've been doing with Jade is just walking around, tapping anytime there's leash pressure. This to me is the most fair way to introduce e-collar to a dog. I would stick with this for a week or two, and essentially until the dog is really moving around, walking with us without having to tap. They're just paying attention, they're avoiding leash pressure, and they're tuned into you in what we call pack drive. So what's really important to think about when you're introducing a tool this powerful is the criteria at which we are tapping the button for the dog. It needs to be incredibly clear and black and white, because the temptation is to put this on and just tap, tap, tap. And so for right now in these next couple weeks, what we did today was we made a perfect association of pressure on your neck equals a tapping sensation as well. And that is the criteria I would stick with for the next couple weeks until Jade is really following closely, matching pace and direction, and you're honestly at that point you're barely tapping the button because she's with you both physically and mentally. From there we can add additional criteria like when we give a verbal cue, or we'll get into that in our next couple sessions with Jade here. We'll start building on that, but I want to lay this foundation of showing the dog this is when this is applied and this is what you can do about it. That is what's kind and fair and going to create connection and build the dog up and have them earn more freedom and live a life where they can hike off leash and do more fun things with you down the road. Thanks for tuning in today with Voyager. So fun training Miss Jade. So in our next session with Jade, we're going to be introducing recall on e-collar, so stay tuned.